everybody. Hello and welcome. I am Lynn from L&J Goods. Thank you so much and happy Wednesday. Thank you so much also for hanging out and understanding that we had to have a little bit of a delay today in our live, but we're just so happy to have you here. Today we're going to work on another Christmas or winter project using I.O.D molds, and it will be the second in the pot series that I did that I'm doing with Persephone. So I know that we have that live somewhere, Megan, but
Have what live?
The pot with the Persephone. We'll find it and
would be in our I.O.D playlist, right?
it would. Yes, it would be in our I.O.D playlist. But anyway, we're so glad you're here today. If you're watching, you're on YouTube or Facebook, and we do appreciate that. We love that you are willing to spend your time with us and maybe get inspired. Who knows? I know that every one of you inspires me. So that said, hey, don't forget, we've got an awesome insider group over on Facebook that I've been getting so excited about posts that I see there today. I wanted to mention that. I also wanted to mention that if you're not in our text group.
Wait, before you go on, let's tell them how they can get in our insider group if
okay,
they're not
go
there
ahead.
already.
Go ahead.
So I always have a link to that insider group in the description on YouTube. You can find a link there, or I always try to make it the pinned comment on the Facebook, on our Facebook chat. Like in the comments there, I keep a link to the insider group. You can always just search for L&J Goods Insider on Facebook as well, and you can request to join there.
That's right. And so another thing I wanted to talk to you about is our text group. So our texties get notifications, sometimes special advanced notifications, and always when we're going to go live, so they get a sneak peek of what we're going to be working on. And you are welcome to join there as well. That text number is also in the description box, or
you can just go right to lnjgoods.com and there's a pop-up there. You can put your phone number right in the box at lnjgoods.com and it'll give you instructions to easily sign up for our text group there.
The cool thing is if it's your first time, you get free shipping.
On one of your orders.
Yeah. So, excluding Debbie's DIY. We must say that as well. So, thanks for hanging out. Those are a few ways that you can connect with us and get a little behind the scenes and be part of this L&J Goods family. So with that, I'm going to flip the camera down and show you what we're working on today. See, I moved my camera, so now I'm like all out of sorts, but I kind of like it this way. Let's
be
go.
Out of sorts.
No, yeah, right. Isn't that the truth, right? Megan, any given day, I'm out of sorts, all right? You know
Fair
that.
Enough. Same.
You know that.
Same.
So here we go. Let me bring that camera down so you can see what we are working on. And we will be doing another Persephone pot. This is one that I did in the fall and totally love it. I have had her filled with these beautiful, kind of almost dried looking faux flowers. And she has been happily sitting here in the shop just to show off how beautiful she is.
Maybe we should make a playlist of just your Persephone pots since you're going to do one for each season.
We sure could.
I think we should do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are pots that I've just had around. I have chosen a pot that has a little straighter sides. I mean, there's a little bit of a slant, but not too much of a slant. And I find this shape appealing, and I think it works well with this particular mold. So you can use whatever pot you want, but I didn't want her really like going downward toward the narrow end of the pot, if that makes sense. So we are going to be using, obviously, not only Persephone, but we are also using some old favorites. I just went through my stash. I have a drawer full of resin bits and pieces that I've saved. This was from a project that, I obviously cut this little part off. I think this is from Classic Elements. Yeah, that's what it looks like it. So we're going to use this. We have, we have from Boughs of Holly. Yeah, we're going way back, but I know a lot of you still have it. We have these pine boughs and this poinsettia. So we've cast a few of those aside. And then last year's Holly Lane, right? Is that the name of it, Holly Lane?
I think so.
It's all the holly leaves. So we've already done a few of these in advance. Now let me tell you how I have prepared my pieces ahead of time. So I actually laid these out, obviously, while the clay was still soft, and got a feel for how I wanted this to be laid out. And I wanted her to dry in my food dehydrator so that I have more minimal cracking. I did get some cracking because I think we held on to it a little bit too long before I started molding it into shape. I'm going to use this lovely piece that was given to us by a friend. And this is kind of how I started. I'm going to pop this like underneath as if it's like a little ornament crown. And I knew that I would want these branches coming out from behind her. So I glued those in place and let them dry. And then I laid the poinsettia mold, the soft mold, over top where I would want that positioned. And then what I did is I very carefully, oops, I got to figure out how did I put that on there. I very carefully lifted the molds off, and then I rolled a little bit of paper towel underneath to keep the shape while it was in the food dehydrator. All right. And so these here, I pressed into place, and then I carefully lifted them off and I put them over like kind of a little mound of paper toweling so that it would keep the shape. Because you can see that I've got some highs and lows here, and I'm going to want to make sure that I preserve all of that. And then I'll be able to come right in and layer underneath all these other little pieces. This one I think goes up here and or something like that. Yeah. And I made sure that again that I kind of preserved the shape of it while this was soft. I can't remember how I put it. I didn't take a picture. Maybe it was like that, but we'll figure it out. All right. So let's start by getting all of this glued into place. Like I said, these are already glued into place. And we want to, and see how this maintained that nice curved shape. Yes, I did get some cracking. I'm okay with that. I have a video that I did for I.O.D. When this was released and shared some of my tips for filling in some major cracks. And you do that with a slurry of air dry clay. So I mix water with the air dry clay and get it really soft and mushy in my hands and press that into those cracks. And I just keep repeating that process until I have that crack filled. Usually I'm not too concerned about a crack. I also cut off this curved bottom here. I wanted to bring this kind of more straight down to the bottom. All right. Oh, she's so lovely. She is so lovely. Then this fit up underneath here. And again, this was a resin piece, so I just had it in my bag of little resin leftovers. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to tuck that right there. And it'll take a minute for all of this to dry. But there we go. I could even soften this with a little heat gun. Let's see if that would work to kind of conform that a little more to the shape. I think these are just such beautiful classic pieces. Let's see. This one's been around a while. I don't know if I'm going to get it to bend too much. But it's a way to utilize some of our other molds that we have had. Yes, they. If you are new to I.O.D, of course, you know you're not going to be able to find boughs of holly. Well, you might be able to, and it depends on what your budget is, right? But we have done castings for folks. We can do that as well. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a bend there. Okay. And then I want to start to lay my other pieces on here. I'm trying to remember how I layered these, because I don't remember. I didn't take a picture, which is what I always tell you to do. Maybe it was just like that. That feels like it fits. Because then this was up here. Yep, that's the one. That goes there. We have some snow coming to Western New York. But I'm kind of excited about it because I really do. I love it when it snows in December. As long as everybody's safe and snuggled inside. Okay, we're going to do that. So let me get my glue on here.
Should ask, can anyone hear music in the background? That's important to know.
Oh, why was it on?
It is on up front, but...
Oh, I can't even hear it.
I can't either, but I heard it when I went up, so I was just like,
ooh,
better make sure.
Yeah.
I tried adding the same picture that you use for the video to the collection.
Oh, okay.
We'll see if that works. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it won't be the right size, but we'll see.
It won't be, but I can always change it later.
I thought I'd give it a whirl.
Okay, we're going to tuck some little...
Boughs of Holly was such a good one.
Boughs of Holly was so good.
You know, we always say we wish we had these all year round, don't we?
I know, we do. We do, but it does make them extra special when you do have them and have them saved.
Yes.
And know that we can continue to use them, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody can hear it. That's good. Clay slip is one of my favorite oops fixers, Tracy says.
Absolutely, Tracy. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we're going to put this one here.
And Tracy loves seeing all the blast from the past projects behind you.
They
are nice
thank
to see,
you.
aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They are fun to see. Oh my gosh, you guys. Did you join us yesterday for our Tim Holtz Tuesday?
Oh, I forgot to change the title.
To what?
Foraging with Tim Holtz Tuesday, Foraging with Friends.
Hey, Cheryl. Can you get me just a little bit of air dry clay? Because I need to layer this, and I may as well show our friends how we do that.
So what other molds are you using here besides Persephone? Just Boughs of Holly?
Yep, and there's a little piece from Classic Elements right here.
We don't have Boughs of Holly on our site,
no. No, it's an oldie.
But I mean even the...
Oh, Lord, don't tell Shirley.
No. Well, you wouldn't be able to do that on these pots anyway because they really need to be bent.
They need to be bendable.
I'm just trying to think of like what alternatives.
Yeah, she's using clay. She's not really.
Instead of what?
Boughs of Holly. Like, what can we have that's branchy?
That's branchy?
Me.
So I've made a little riser here out of clay to fill in that gap underneath. And that just gives me a steady, solid base on which to put my clay mold. Clay casting, I guess. Okay, so now I've got everything on there. I'll show you how I do a little clay slip. Hold on. Viridis could be beautiful. And you know, I think that so I've got really wet. This is very wet, mushy. See how mushy this is? And because it's clay, it's going to stick to clay. So I could, for example, fill in this little crack here a little bit more. And then we'll go ahead and dry that as well.
But man, Boughs of Holly is a good one.
Boughs of Holly was the best.
That's branchy.
It is very branchy, and you really could make that look
Yeah.
very wintry also. A lot of this is going to depend on the colors. Mm-hmm. And is there a poinsettia or something sort of like a poinsettia that we could use? Megan's on the case.
What was that? Not today, Shirley.
Excuse me. Just had to get some more water here. But see how this gets really mushy and fills in. But again, I don't necessarily always want to fill in all the cracks. We used our oak leaves. We used the oak leaves on our fall pot. Let me dry this so that then I can get painting it. These go together so quickly, and we're going to keep a very subtle look to her.
I don't know if you could make that look like a poinsettia. Not really. Huh?
No, not really, because it kind of looks just more like a sunflower.
I know. I just thought you could.
I know.
With it, but no,
if anybody has any great ideas for how to make a poinsettia, other than just rolling out. Look at all these little leaves on here. I mean, you really could, like, if you put your mind to it, you could make with the Viridis.
Even a holly berry, like if you made it look like a holly.
But look at, I mean, see this little leaf right here? Like, you could layer those.
Yeah.
You really could. I bet you could, and make it look like a poinsettia. If we have time, we'll do it. Hey, Cheryl. Because you've got a good vision for this, too.
Delray's loving your gingerbread nails.
Oh, thank you, Delray. Thank you. I'm trying to preserve them as long as possible. Look at the shape of these leaves, okay? Mm-hmm. Then look at, like, this leaf on Viridis, or this one.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think we could cast some and make it look like a poinsettia?
Easily.
Are you in the mood? Huh? No? It's like, no.
Which mold are you asking for,
You
Patrice?
have that one, right?
The lady is Persephone, and then Mom is using a bit of the Boughs of Holly mold and Classic Elements. I got out the Viridis mold for those of you that don't have the Boughs of Holly mold. But that's a good opportunity for me to remind everyone that I made a supply list for today, where I'll link to everything that Mom is using. You can find that in the description up above if you're watching on Facebook, or down below if you're watching on YouTube. Or if you're watching on a mobile device and you go to ellenjgoods.com, there's 3 little lines in the upper left-hand corner. If you click on that, you go to Featured on our live tutorials, and you just look for the name of today's live and today's date. That's where you can find the supply list for today. Or if you're on just a regular computer, that's right up at the top of the page on ellenjgoods.com, featured on our live tutorials. That's what you look for.
I mean, you guys, I think, do I want to get crazy and use our baubles from last year?
I think more is more for the holidays,
to,
if you're asking my opinion.
To add a little, look at, these were kind of cut-offs I did. I mean, I could actually maybe, instead of that one, I'm just going to snap. I mean, oh my gosh, look at how cool is that? Because it just looks like ornaments all in there,
Yeah.
right? Should we do it?
Vicky said, "What about using snowflakes? That could also be beautiful."
Well,
We were thinking
stay
about
tuned
doing
for winter.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing that in the winter time.
Stay
A winter
tuned for
Persephone.
winter.
So I think we will start a playlist where we'll do the seasonal Persephone pots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Erin says, "I think she'd be pretty with a black ribbon choker with a small charm. I think that
Oh
would be
my
very
gosh,
pretty
of
too."
course. Yeah, I'm going to just leave these
Hi,
3
Lori.
elements like
You have my
that.
clay.
Hey, Colleen.
You have my clay.
Question from Erin. Does the dehydrator help prevent breaks in the clay?
It really
it's drying
does.
faster?
Yes, it does. And also because you are...
Does it?
It does. But
Does it?
that could be for a few different reasons. So I don't want to assume.
Well, she's asking, since it's drying faster, do you think that?
It's not, yes. It's more about the air circulation.
That it's an even circulation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense to me.
So these are just little resin pieces and castings that I've had, and you can see I have just snapped them and made them fit what I wanted.
Here's an interesting question.
Okay.
I need a product to base coat glass and then be able to paint on it.
Bonding primer.
Bonding primer.
Yep.
Hold for a link,
I
please.
just did it.
And it just got back in stock for anyone that's looking for bonding primer. I just added it back to the website. It was out of stock for a minute, but it's back.
Okay, let me put that there. This is kind of an afterthought for me, but I'm liking it. I'm digging it. Look at that, perfect fit, and it's like 1, 2, 3 elements that are going to be shiny and pretty, and then we've got.
Mary Casey says, "I remember Jane stamped a poinsettia using either the chrysanthemum or peony stamp. You could stamp them into clay and assemble. It will be bigger than the poinsettia mold."
Oh, much bigger. So you guys, let me see if I can switch this camera. I don't know if you can see right back here.
Yes.
I did this, and I used the chrysanthemum stamp, and we put this together, the holiday poinsettia piece board retro sign. See that? I mean, come on. That is so gorgeous. I love that piece. I love all of these. They're all great. All right, let's go back down here. Okay, so let me give this a little bit of a dry. So here's the other thing too, is when I know it's really hard, but here are some tricks that I use. Want to make sure you've got really fresh, soft clay, right? And you don't want it, if you're going to use it in the dehydrator, especially to maintain a rounded shape like I've done, you've got to make sure you get it in there right away. If it starts to dry on the surface and you press that around this shape, it is naturally going to crack. The other thing is that if you like press some clay in and then you take more clay and press more clay in, every place that you put that together can potentially create a stress point that will crack when it bends or dries.
Nothing worse than a stress point.
But again, I would encourage you to go watch that video that I did because I show how I had one of these that had just a big, jagged, long crack in
Which
her.
video?
It's from it's from the last release. It's one that I did, like creating the look of antique chalkware with the new Persephone mold and I.O.D.
So you think that is the name, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can find it.
Let's let this dry for a second. And Miss Shirley, did a few of these leaves that she was not in the mood to do.
It was a live or just a?
No, it was a actual video.
Hey, these are actual videos.
An actual video.
But so would it have been called Summer I.O.D. Release, or would it have been called Creating the Look of Antique Chalkware?
Something like that.
Which one?
Either one. I don't know. You
No,
just
it
kind
would
of have
have,
to
would it
scan
have been
through.
called I.O.D. Summer Release, or would it have been called
I don't
Creating
know.
the Look?
Probably creating an antique chalkware look.
Because you do have one called I.O.D. Summer Release.
Well, that's one where we showed everything. That wasn't an edited video. That was a live.
It's 12 minutes and 29 minutes. 12 minutes and 29 seconds long.
All right, let me look. I can tell by looking at the thumbnails.
Okay. It just says I.O.D. Summer Release.
Right there. Yeah.
That doesn't say Creating the Look of Antique Chalkware, so that's deceiving.
Something. 2 new molds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Do that.
We should change the title of that.
Okay. I will. That's me right there. See, that's me.
Yes, that's one thing all of these videos have in common.
Okay, so check it out. Like, we're making a poinsettia. Look at this. Surely it's working.
Okay, I'm just going to link that video in the chat here, okay?
Beautiful. And in the description.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how I would reference it in the description. For people watching later.
Mm-hmm.
What should I say?
More I.O.D. Persephone.
Well, you're specifically wanting them to reference it for layering techniques, or
We don't need any more, sure. We're good. So look at, I mean, let me tell you something. If that does not look like a poinsettia, right? Do you see that, you guys?
I'm going to say more Persephone technique.
Not big balls like that, Cheryl.
Right?
Just need little balls, yeah. I mean, okay.
Well, yours are really tiny.
Yeah, because it's a tiny little poinsettia. Shirley, really? Is that really going to work? All right, I just came up with an idea.
You got one here.
So don't think. You know something? Though this boughs of holly may be discontinued, but look it. We can make a poinsettia and it's beautiful. Actually, I think I like this one better than the one that's already cast. It has more dimension to it. So there you go. Get yourselves a Veridis mold. Isn't that? Look at that.
Yep.
That is
That.
freaking.
That.
So doesn't that make you just want to
and
rip that other one right off there?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah. But I'm not going to. I do want to save this because I love the way that it
Pretty good.
looks.
Patrice said she can draw a poinsettia.
I bet you can, Patrice. There's nothing you can't do.
She is a very good
Excuse
artist.
me.
That is Veridis for the poinsettia, yep.
Isn't that? Look at that.
If anyone wants to rewind to the beginning, I don't want to toot my own horn, but
No, never.
Mom, I know that Mom, of course, does 99.9999% of all creative and wonderful things around here, but I did bring that Veridis mold out.
Yes, you did.
Okay?
You did.
So,
There it is.
I gotta take my wins when I can get them.
Feast your eyes on that for a second.
Every once in a while.
I'm just gonna. You know what? For the.
Now, did she slide that primitive mold right back out of here? Yes. Melissa said you could use a cookie cutter.
Were you looking for this?
That was the video she was referencing, yes. Melissa said you could use a cookie cutter, which is also a great suggestion.
Yeah. This lady here had a giant crack all the way down her face. And we fixed her up. All right.
And now she's covered in cracks.
Yes, and then I use crackle. Look at, oh my gosh, you guys.
I got a splash of creativity, Lori. I did my Ancestry.com and they did say that I have
You do?
3%
3% what?
creativity.
I didn't know that was an option.
So when I had it done so that when people ask me, are you creative as your mother? I say, no, I have 3%. She's
Only
100% and I have 3%.
No, I'm not 100%.
Tracy said I should start a spreadsheet to collect all your flashes of brilliance. I didn't get that. I only have about 1% of that, whatever that is.
No,
but
Tracy, I'd like you to
spreadsheets.
teach Megan how to make a spreadsheet.
I was going to say, whatever it is that makes spreadsheets. I didn't get that either. I could learn, though. I have whatever it is.
You could learn.
I have whatever it is that can learn. I can learn about anything. I have an inquisitive nature, you can say. Wouldn't you say that, Mom?
I would say
I have
so.
100% of that.
Yeah, 100% nosy. I mean,
yes, curious, inquisitive. Teacher's
right.
pet.
I am just going to use, I shouldn't, no. I'm just going to spread this. I have two opened Victorian lace.
Meanwhile, you're telling everyone you can paint a whole medicine cabinet with one sample, and you're pouring.
Honey, this is almost empty. Okay, I just want to use it up. I just want to use it up. Okay?
You have to ask for the right DNA test, Lori. I got a special one done because I was so tired of people asking me that.
Oh, girl. And I got some in here. Oh.
Everyone's blown away by that poinsettia.
I am blown away by that poinsettia. I love it.
Tracy said I could install links to that spreadsheet for reference.
Beautiful.
That is very motivating, actually, Tracy, for the long winter months. It might cure my seasonal depression.
Okay, so typically I would pre-paint my pot, especially when I'm applying molds. But since my molds were already dry, I'm good with just gluing them on and then painting over the whole thing all as one.
The thing is, I do think I am creative. I just can't put my finger on it.
What do you mean you can't put your finger on it?
Like, it's just not maybe as obvious as it is.
You're definitely creative.
Yeah, but I can't, you know what I mean? I'm just not putting a mold on a pot like that.
No, but you have a creative,
See?
I'm trying to think of how to say it.
Yeah,
you are very creative with your skill of or using language.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a plain Jane.
No, you're not.
But who amongst us is? Everybody is. I do believe everyone is creative. I do very much believe that.
Oh, well, Megan, we believe we are created by the one who created us.
Yes.
And he is very creative.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the different varieties of us that there is.
Yes.
That's creativity. Look at nature.
Oh, yeah, Lori. Listen, we need to have a whole video about this. We could have a whole chat. Mm-hmm. Lori said mine was so special.
That one's going to be, oops, sorry, 65.
That's a steal.
Yeah, that's a real steal.
Lori said mine was so special, all caps. I found out the man who raised me with love wasn't my biological father. Well, Lori, I always say Ancestry.com, bringing families together and tearing them apart since it began, because I feel like everyone has a story very close to them like that, and I hope that yours turned out happy in the end. But I have people very close to me that have stories very similar to that. I got a whole cousin out of my deal. that we
You
love.
did, yeah,
Yes,
you
that
did.
we love very much, but it was a very big surprise. And my cousins, my very close cousins, got a sister that they were not aware of.
You hear it's all the time.
I mean, truly, many people. What I like to take comfort in as a woman,
Me too.
and I think all of
I
us
know,
here, most of us are probably women here.
I know every child that I gave birth
Each
to.
and every one of us. The surprises, it ain't on us. If there's something out there, it ain't going to be a surprise to me.
That's right.
Okay?
We know. We know.
You know?
We know.
There might be something lurking that we don't really want anybody to know about. That's possible. But it isn't going to be a surprise to us. Most things aren't a surprise to us.
Nope.
But yes, Lori, I really hope that yep, Judy got a half sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I said, I feel like we could do a whole, yep, Melissa, it happened to her family. I would bet almost everyone here has someone probably once removed that had it at least like once removed that had something like this happen to them if it didn't happen to you personally.
Okay, so remember not too long ago when I got mine back and discovered here, I thought every single one, I look back like generations. Germany,
Yep.
Germany. I just know every one of them. And lo and behold, how did I end up 30% Swedish?
Well, it's so funny because my brother and my sister and I are all very Swedish, but that was not a surprise to us because my dad, on one side of his family, both of his grandparents came from Sweden. Well, Grandma Mo her parents came from Sweden,
Yes.
my great-grandmother. So that was not a surprise to us. But
well, on the other hand, it was a surprise for me.
But it was a
with this
surprise that
situation.
my mom...
Remember, I called Grandma speaking. So I'm like, Mom, this is interesting. So it could only be one of three things. And she said, I've never even kissed another man. I'm like, Mom, I'm not accusing you of
Grandma.
She didn't understand.
No, but I definitely think you look at Poppy and it's like, well, duh.
Well, yeah. And so then it makes you wonder, like, was his grandmother adopted? Did she have... Who knows? Who knows? You just don't know.
Okay,
Those
so
secrets
Melissa...
were held close to the vest.
Yeah. But who knows if it was even really a secret? It just may have been they didn't really know their heritage as well as they
Oh,
thought
of course.
they did.
Yeah, sure.
But it also could have been a terrible family secret. You don't know.
Those...
Melissa, you're saying your first cousin who looked more like my mother than me. Are you saying that this person was actually your sibling?
Oh, dear.
Because I know there was a lot of that. You know, just siblings being raised by, you know, someone else. Or as a cousin. When it's actually your brother, but they're being called your cousin,
gosh.
you know,
You're...
because of a young pregnancy.
Or
things like
you
that,
think it's your mother, but it's really your aunt or your grandmother. It's a lot of, you know, and I'll tell you, you just...
Yes, Lori, of course God did have a plan.
Absolutely.
And Judy got a surprise half-sister, and did you get to connect with her, Judy? Wendy said created to create, and I think she was talking more back when we were talking about being creative, and I'm thinking more of the Ancestry.com. Because people were out there creating.
They sure were. Creatively, too.
Okay, Lori says, my siblings suspected but didn't know for sure, never said a word. So is it also your siblings, or was it just you who did not share the same father? And of course, you don't have to share anything. As I said, I have an inquisitive nature, but...
And you know, and then, of course, there's always, I mean, in every family, even if you are all born of the same parents, one child is usually accused of being adopted. Right? Oh, goodness.
Patrice said about my creativity. It's your mouth. You're a comedian.
It's true.
Kat says, my nephew is into genealogy and he discovered that my father was adopted.
Yeah.
Colleen says, when my brother needed a stem cell match for leukemia, I found out I had an unknown half-brother.
Oh my gosh. It's just wild.
Julie found 5 half-brother and sisters when she was 30, all crafty people.
Wow.
It is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
I was honestly a little disappointed I didn't find any siblings. Yet.
Oh, please.
I don't know.
Well,
I
you
love
never
Dad,
know.
but I did think there definitely was a chance.
Megan. We're going to try this. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Now we're getting into a deep.
Oh, Sight and Sound in Pennsylvania. My grandma's gone there quite a few times. She loves it. Linda Gardner just went there.
Oh, did you, Linda? What did you think? Was it a Christmas production? I would like to go there.
Your grandma's gone a few times,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Did you go to the world's largest buffet there? Or, well, it's really huge, but.
Judy is just connected on Facebook with her half-sibling, and she actually lives close to us.
Oh, my gosh.
Mary Casey had a friend who later in life discovered that his sister was actually his mother. Yep, you hear about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Delray was adopted. I went back to the 1860s and ancestries and figured it out on both sides. I have 4 half-sisters and 1 half-brother. God bless me in the best family. That's beautiful, Delray.
I know, I love that.
Melissa's situation was her aunt had a baby in an unwed mother's home, and the baby was adopted and then found us decades later, and she looked just like her mom, and her mom was blown away. Aww.
Well, I can tell you who didn't need Ancestry.com, and that was a man named Fred who went to our church, and he was in the choir with me, and
Yeah.
he traced his ancestry all the way back to Adam and Eve.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
So Lori's story, she's 1 out of 10 siblings. It
Wow.
was just her that did not share the same father. And she gained 5 half siblings. She was always much better in school. So you're the superior one. And her brothers always teased her that she was adopted because they were jealous.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. So is your mom still living, Lori? Did she know that you found this out? Again, stop me at any time if I'm asking too many questions. Lori Green says, I remember seeing the meme with the man wearing white patent leather loafers. It said, if your dad wore these, you have siblings you don't know about. I'm pretty sure I do.
Oh,
The Sight and Sound, it was the story of Daniel that Linda saw.
Oh, okay.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Nina says, my father was in the army in Germany and tells us his army stories. I have a feeling I have a lot of half-brothers and sisters
Hey,
in
listen,
Europe.
you know what? Just think about that and wartime babies. And I know that World War II, like GI babies, and then Vietnam, there was a huge number of Vietnamese American babies that were born during that.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad's father was married to my grandma here
Okay.
in Buffalo, and he worked the railroad.
Uh-huh.
And he would come home on weekends, but during the week he lived in New York City, and he had another whole family there.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Yeah,
Those whole
that's,
second family situations.
that sounds
too.
like a Dateline
So I'm sure I have
episode.
like, some kind of, half sisters and brothers.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been curious to find
I
out?
have, but
Yeah.
I've never.
You've never done one?
No,
Hmm.
I should.
Yes, you
So
should.
that would be very interesting, I'm
Yes.
sure. Although they're all gone now, so I wouldn't have anybody to ask questions.
Well, they might
of.
have, descendants.
Yeah.
That'd be very interesting. Marianne says, I found out I don't share the same dad as my siblings, so I have no full siblings.
Oh, wow.
Did you find that out doing tests like that, Marianne? So she never did connect with him, but he lived in Portland, and I always wanted to go. Kat says, our ancestors kept their skeletons in the closet and took their secrets with them. They sure did. And they never dreamed of a DNA test.
That's the truth.
They never dreamed that would be a
wasn't even
possibility.
on their radar.
Yes.
No.
They thought
Was on
they
nobody's radar.
thought they were safe and sound. Maureen said, my youngest daughter told my oldest daughter that she was found in a dumpster and was adopted. Yeah, there's lots of that, too. Those stories that older siblings tell their younger.
I would say we found my brother under a rock.
Yeah.
Oh, Lori says, my mom died when I was 17. I'm very sorry about that. She and my dad divorced when I was little. My mom dated my biological father. I knew him, too. He died when I was 23, and I just found out 2 years ago. Wow. Vicky says, loving this project. Thank you, Vicky.
Thanks, Vicky. Hey, Og.
Yeah.
Would you make sure you check to see if we have any mail? Thank you. All right. I really want to get some of this painted. And I'm going to kind of keep to the same look of our other piece that we did, where it's a little more sheer. So I'm going to use the sparkle gel again. And I'm thinking, what if we get some... I'm thinking. I want a green, but I want like one of the fusion greens. You know what I mean, Cheryl? Shoot. See if we have. Are there any little samples of the greens over there?
You want the bayberry?
Like bayberry. Yeah, that would be good.
Lacey says, my maternal grandfather came to this country as an infant from Germany. Maternal grandmother's parents came from Wales. There was a little Swedish in my profile, probably from my grandpa. Sweden is just across the bay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're related. You never do know. Oh, Marianne found out because her mom and her sister had a fight, and she told me I had a different dad.
Oh, that's horrible. What an awful way to find out.
Yes.
Right?
This is bayberry. This is Everett.
I'm thinking it's got to be bayberry.
I would think so too.
Do we have one back there that's open, or?
Wendy said, I knew you were going to paint her, but she was striking all in white. She really was.
She really was.
Maybe
yeah.
the wintry one we'll do in white, just with some sparkle or something.
Mm-hmm. But again, I'm going to keep this very kind of sheer. See? Like I just want that red and all of my colors to just kind of settle in. Look at that. I mean, just settling down into those cracks. Or not the cracks, the detail. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then watch. And then when we add the dark wax, that's going to give us the depth and dimension that we need. Oh, is that pretty?
That's the sparkling gel.
Yep, that's the red sparkling gel, and it's just got just enough shimmer.
You got a mandarin green. That's real dark.
No, I think I like bayberry. And this is just really watery. So I could also mix this, if I wanted to, I could mix it with like a clear glaze. But I'm going to just keep going like this. Since I did cover this with Fusion.
Yes, Lisa, we were talking DNA. Got any good stories for us?
Isn't that beautiful? I feel like I'm going to need a different color green for those holly leaves. Sure, what was the other green that you brought me? Does it have a little bit of a blue undertone to it? Of course, if I get paint where I don't want it, I can always come back later and touch up with that Victorian lace.
This one is Wellington.
Gosh, I don't know. 'Cause don't you feel? I feel like I need to do those holly leaves a little bit of a different color, right? Wouldn't you think?
Darker.
A little darker?
Yeah. My holly leaves are real dark.
Well, let's try. Wellington. Let's see if this one. This is.
Yeah, Marianne, I think it's great for health reasons for everybody to be able to know. Karen said, remember chalking back in the day? That would look beautiful.
No, I don't know what you
like
mean.
chalking. I think that's like what you did with the chalkware.
Oh, okay.
Was all the rage. It's like when pastel looked like porcelain.
Yeah.
Oh, Carol Beals is here. She says, hi ladies, I've been listening while I paint. My husband just found out that he has 2 younger brothers. They did Ancestry.com and found him. He always thought that he was the youngest of 4 and they might meet up next summer.
Oh,
Wow. How's he feeling about it? Hey, Tracy. Hey, Dorothy.
Is it Dorothy Lodge?
Yes.
Hi, Dorothy. Oh my gosh, I feel like we haven't seen or heard from you in so long.
See, sometimes when we come out at a different time of day, we get to see different people, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. So the camera might not be picking it up, but this is definitely a little bit of a different tone of green here.
Oh, I can see it.
Can you?
Yeah. Yes, amazingly, I can see.
Whoa!
Glasses do wonders for you.
The more I'm hearing, though, the more I guess it turns out, while the women don't have any surprises with these DNA tests, doesn't mean they didn't have any secrets.
Yeah. Right?
You know?
This is true.
that they are gritting their teeth and probably sweating, knowing these tests are out there.
I know.
And that's probably scary.
Well, especially, I mean, when you think about as a woman, like if you have to make that decision to
Yes.
leave your child in the care of someone else, first of all, what a scary time that is anyway.
And different times back then, too.
And very different times, that's right.
Yeah, Delray, for sure. If you're adopted, you want that biological medical background if you don't have access to it. Jan's brother-in-law, who was adopted, found 9 brothers and sisters.
Holy
Whoa,
cow.
all from the same family?
Oh, geez. I read the story of the town where over 50% of the people are related but didn't know about it. I hope it's not
I've
Medina.
heard that. I saw that documentary. That was crazy. That doctor that, oh, yes.
Oh, what is that wood holder called? We need to remember that every time. Our friends send that to us. It's a cradle. Scrappy cradle?
Scrappy's cradle, yeah.
We should link to it. I'll work on that link, okay?
We're going to use our pigment fix in our antique.
Yes, pre-birth control. Yeah, for sure.
Well, in a time when...
And we just didn't talk about those things.
Nobody talked, and
yes.
we didn't know.
A lot of shame.
Yes. But every one of those children born is precious.
Yes.
And valuable. Treasured human beings.
Carol said, because I asked Carol how he's feeling.
Yeah.
Her husband about the brothers. She said, not great. Disappointed that it happened while his parents were married. Yeah, that is tough. Are his parents still alive?
When you're using pigment fix and the metallics powders, you really do want to make sure, we had a question about this that came via email. You want to make sure that your pigments are totally dissolved in the pigment fix. Otherwise, you can get a little bit of an irregular or lumpy appearance. So you want to mix and mix and mix and make sure that the metal powder is completely dissolved. The other thing is if you want more opaque coverage, you add a little bit more of the metal pigment powder. If you want less opaque, then you use a little less.
Very good information. We had a few questions about that. Traveling Penguin says, I don't want to find any relatives. The ones I have already are insane enough. I have my hands full.
Yeah, right? Woo.
And Lori Henderson, I would like to know when your book is coming out.
Who's Megan's?
No, when Lori Henderson's book is going to come out, because her story is fascinating.
Oh, okay. Of course, I am working quickly here. I'm at kind of different angles, probably not giving you the optimal experience here. I'm going to let that settle in for a bit. And I'm going to try to wipe back.
Scrappy's Rustics. Thank you, Beth Ray.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the most handy little thing.
Okay, so see, I am wiping back now to reveal some of that lighter, some of the white clay. It is pretty. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Oh,
Lisa's a not expected parent.
what does that mean?
She said, I did the DNA thing because a like family history. Turns out I belonged to the man that owned the laundromat.
Wow.
My parents were never divorced, however. There was some running around going on. I was 52 when I found out both my parents were already gone. So no explanation. But what about the guy that owns the laundromat? Is he still around?
And how did that make you feel?
Yeah, how do you feel
I always
about that?
wonder, like, how people process or handle that.
Yeah, like Carol's saying, you know, her husband just found out about that these siblings were produced when his parents were still married. Now both of his parents are gone, so he can't really confront them about it or have any resolution.
Yeah, and not, I mean, not that you wouldn't understand, like, everybody can be forgiven, or, but I think you just want to know, right? You want the opportunity to hear the whole story.
Yeah, and I do think those feelings are complex because you look at your parents sometimes, I think, in a one-dimensional way.
Yeah.
Not as, like, whole people that have, especially you don't want to think of them as having desire, God forbid. You know what I mean? So that almost forces you to think of that, and that's really tough.
Yeah, nobody wants to think about their parents in that way.
So the green is Fusion Bayberry, Joey.
And
the red...
Fusion Wellington.
And Fusion Wellington, just watered down a bit. And the red is Pentart Red Sparkling Gel. I linked them both in the supply list.
So what I did is I applied the paint and then took a baby wipe to remove the excess and leave watch here what I'm going to do. I'm just going to remove the excess so that it kind of settles down into all of the details. Now what I want to do is, let me see if I have a little bit of white down in here. I have just a couple of spots that I want to touch over where I got sloppy.
Jennifer said, my mom got real weird when I asked her about it. She told me to ask my dad, and I haven't gotten the nerve yet.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, and even then, it's like if you think about it, like years later, like if it's a topic that they have tried to hold, so it just could bring up a lot of pain and a lot of difficulty for them as well.
But it can also, depending on where you're at, it's an opportunity to know them better. Like Marianne said,
yeah,
I felt special. My mom talked about it when she was dying from cancer at 91. I've never had a bad thought about it. No anger, just love.
Right.
So it just kind of, I think, probably depends where you're at in your relationship with that parent.
And where the parent is in their relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So,
or if they're feeling a lot of shame, that will dictate how they're going to act about it, I would imagine.
Well, but you know what? Anytime that there's an opportunity, if somebody has done something that is perceived as shameful or a betrayal of some kind, or that you've been slighted, there's always that opportunity to talk it through, right? And offer complete, like, forgiveness. It doesn't take away the feelings that you may have about it, but it can help those feelings transition into something more positive and help you process through them.
Understanding someone more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird to transition from your being parent to human.
Sure it is.
I always use the example, I've probably mentioned it here before, when I think of myself as a child and how I would imagine my mom like if she dropped me off at dance class, you know, and I'd be waiting for her to pick me up, and if she was truly looking at my Minnie Mouse Timex that I got in 4th grade for Christmas, because she said it was responsible enough. And I'm telling you, if that thing ticked 1 minute past the time when she was supposed to get me, I was fuming and thinking, because what I imagined her doing was dropping me off at dance, going home, and sitting on the couch and watching the clock until it was time to pick me up again. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Like, that's what I thought she did. That's how self-centered I, like, as a child.
Well, as a child, you are self-centered.
Yes, and so I just thought, what else?
You
now as an adult, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's probably doing 2 loads of laundry, prepping dinner, like, imagine if she, God forbid, she's putting her feet up and reading a book for a minute or something while I was out of her hair, or taking care of my 2 other siblings. Who knows? Ben had soccer, Katie had something to do. Who knows? But I was just like, what could she possibly be doing besides just waiting for me to be done? Like, in fact, why isn't she here watching me this whole practice? Right. She could be at the grocery store. Somebody. I mean, there's a million things, but that's what I envisioned of her.
Well, and you know, I would like to say too, while we're here, that
my daughter's rude.
No, it's not that. I'm just kind of thinking, like, how sometimes when we talk about things like this, it can open up wounds for people, or it can just know that it's not our intention to make anybody feel uncomfortable. Anyway, yeah, that's all I want to say. And that wherever you are in that process of dealing with childhood or parenting or your parent, whatever, like, you're loved. You are loved and valued, and we don't want you to feel, well, you get to feel however you want to feel.
Yeah, of course, and sometimes you don't feel. There's a lot of people that haven't felt loved or valued by their parents, you know?
Yes,
that's some people's experience.
You know, and we laugh about it when we make jokes and everything, but I know that it can be a very real and powerful and deep thing for folks.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just from the school of we laugh so we don't cry.
We laugh so we don't cry, yes. Exactly.
Maureen, yes, you can use pigment fix with mica powders, with all mica powders.
Well, that looks like she's got a big clot of something up her nose. We gotta fix that.
Yes, Tracy.
What did Tracy say?
She said, forgiveness and acceptance must be so huge for someone who may have anguished for the secret, like family origins, for so long.
Oh, for sure. I think forgiveness is hard no matter what. No matter what the situation is. Forgiveness is a hard thing. Mm-hmm. I think because we want to attach to it that person, the act of forgiveness for that individual is going to somehow change them, or we have an expectation that of something from them, but truly forgiveness is simply your own act of, I think, clearing your heart of.
Yes, I 100% agree.
You know what
we
I'm
were
saying?
Just talking about this today. Traveling Penguin, what is your name? I thought I may call you by your name. If you'd prefer to be called Traveling Penguin.
There she is. She's beautiful.
Grace is better. You don't have to forgive. Grace, we just looked up the definition of grace today. It's undeserved favor. Because I think forgiveness implies that it's like you're excusing a behavior, right?
That's not
not what it really means. But grace is an undeserved favor, and it's just,
and it doesn't dismiss
giving some grace. Yeah,
it doesn't dismiss any thing that, you know, any way that you may have been hurt or by a person, but it does. It can free you from the burden of
anger.
Yeah, it can. Isn't she beautiful? She's so beautiful.
And you don't get skin like that by being angry. I'll tell you that right now.
Not that beautiful porcelain. Now, what did I go and do? Are you serious? I wanted to give her a little blush.
There goes the porcelain.
Because it's winter and, oh, now that's pretty. That is pretty.
The little bauble looking resin pieces are from a mold that was called Bauble. It's from an older Christmas I.O.D. mold called Bauble. Look at that rouge. Wow.
That is gorgeous.
What a tart, they would have called her back in the day.
Seriously.
A tart.
Right? I tell you, she may have had some.
I was gonna
children out
say
there.
it, but I'm like, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it.
No, but your mother did. Well, we're going to go make wreaths tonight at the Cooperative Extension, and I'm excited about it. I don't often get to go
Hey,
and
Dale.
learn something from somebody else.
Neil, we're going to learn how to make a wreath tonight.
And you guys, there she is. I am going to...
Oh, Marnie, you missed a lot today. We've been really chatting it up this week, haven't we?
We have been. We've had so much. So many things to chat about. I think that this season brings up a lot of powerful feelings for people as well.
And the urge to forage.
And the urge I'll show you that too in a minute.
Oh, Shirley wasn't here for that. Oh, you missed out yesterday.
Cheryl,
We were
what
dying.
a hoot.
Delray, you are beautiful and perfect. Okay?
She is.
She is.
She is beautiful.
Carol Beal says I may have to change my mind about Persephone. Listen, we're going to have a whole playlist about Persephone, so you're going to want one.
Where did I put
Tracy
that?
said, what a great group this is. Yesterday we all laughed so much together, and today we discussed the poignant. Indeed. Yep. We're all over the place, that's for sure.
Oh, that's too big. All right, well.
And guess what? It's Katie Oakes we're doing the wreath making class. Our friend Katie Oakes that some of you might remember.
I would need a little bit bigger of a tree.
Yeah, that doesn't do her justice.
No, she needs a grand tree or a big bunch of evergreen boughs.
She needs a grand old tree. A high flying tree.
Or a beautiful poinsettia.
Yes, a big poinsettia
a big poinsettia. Wouldn't that be gorgeous?
What about this tree?
Here's her sister. No, she's too retro. I think I might do another bit of dark wax, but look there's our fall Persephone, and there's our Christmas Persephone, and
next up
will be winter, and I can't wait. But yeah, she definitely needs a more substantial tree in her.
Or a poinsettia.
Or a poinsettia.
Tree in her bonnet. Yeah, growing out of her head.
I think so. Yes. So
for Halloween, we should do one with snakes growing out of her.
Ooh, really? All right. Well, here we are at 1 minute and 13.
Thank you so much for everyone that shared such personal things today. I feel so honored to hear your stories.
Yeah.
Really and truly.
It goes without saying that you are a special group of people,
yes.
Women, men, whoever's watching. You are, and you are highly valued by us. We appreciate you so much, and just pray always that you just find joy and creativity.
And I just leave you all with one question.
Yes.
Who's your daddy?
I'll tell you who my daddy is. Right here. Santa Claus.
Bye.
Love you guys.